Welcome back to Wondour, guys. We have Mr. Dylan Stroud, managing partner of Wondour itself. All the amazing apps you guys have done in playing in virtual reality and in the metaverse already. And we've been giving everybody all the golden nuggets of success on what is the metaverse.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I think you've been scaring some people. I think you've been getting some people excited.
I hope not too much scared.
No, not too much.
Mostly exciting things.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Dylan, you and I are out in Las Vegas a lot, meetings, literally talking to people, guerrilla style. So we hear a lot of opinions on what is the metaverse. Mm-hmm. What is the metaverse not? Like, what are the things you hear all the time that is a misconception of what the metaverse is?
Yeah, we tend to get a lot of people who think that the metaverse is going to be X app, right? It's X name, insert verse at the end of the sentence or at the end of the word. And the truth is, the metaverse really is that next step of the internet. The metaverse is a collection, just like the internet is a collection of companies, it's a collection of products, it's a collection of devices even, right, that use access to the internet to create products and services and experiences. The metaverse is that next evolution of the internet, where we're going to be using a variety of devices, both immersive in terms of virtual, augmented, mixed, XR technology, augmented reality, glasses, those sort of immersive technology devices, which are effectively devices that are internet connected and geospatially aware of the environment around them. So this is, you can start to think about placing a sofa, it knows where the ground is. It's, not only the geospatial environment around me can I interact with, but it understands human gestures. This is still geospatial computing, right? And so these are new innovations that can fundamentally change the way we interact with the internet today. We now have full body communication. You can, like I said, you can pull out a screen, you can grab it in real life, do what's effectively magic, right? You can duplicate it, it can make it to where I can show you, or you can't see what's on it, but I can hear it, you can mute it, you can pull up your own screen. It's just things that you can't do in physical reality, but you can still get the value of all of our favorite streaming services. You can bring those sort of experiences in. So it's going to not just be one insert verse, metaverse location. It's going to be really the entirety of the internet with a 3D layer, and the devices that we're going to access can be those sort of types of immersive technologies, but we'll also access the metaverse in ways that are already being proven today on typical experiences, where maybe you don't have your headset with you and you just go onto your laptop and you're all sitting in a room together and you just want to talk and hang out and do whatever it is you're doing with traditional mouse and keyboard, or via phone. So really the metaverse is not a singular location, it's many. The metaverse is the next evolution of the internet with a 3D layer applied. There will be many virtual reality experiences. There will be many different worlds, environments, avatars, processes, products, services. It's really just think more in terms of the internet, and that you're going in a better direction generally.
So Dylan, with that being said, what components makes you the most excited about the metaverse? Like, what gets you jacked?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I think the amazing thing about the metaverse is or really virtual reality right now. So virtual reality, the hardware is further along, and so we can already produce really high quality experiences, and it's so new that there's so much opportunity to provide real value in there in terms of both gaming and non-gaming experiences, which again, most of the internet, right, is not games. There's a large percentage that is, but most of it's not, and so the same thing will be true of the metaverse. There will be many large players, and there's so much opportunity, I think, for entrepreneurs to come in, do something innovative, and where they can again provide real value in the space without having to take on too much risk, right? And so I think that's a really exciting component. My focus right now is definitely virtual reality and pass-through, just because those technologies are a little bit more ready and in hand. Augmented reality, there's an immense amount of potential there once the hardware's there. But in that space, I think most people just thinking about how to use it, understanding how to position themselves for that, very useful. And there are still some examples of augmented reality, both on immersive devices today, and mobile phones, desktop things that we can do. But the metaverse as a whole, I think just watching that progression, my main interest right now is in virtual reality for that reason. It's just more ready. And then that endless potential and seeing the sort of the magic that you experience when you actually put on the headset. You see 3D, the social experiences, people going to concerts and events, and getting that out of home market accessible to everybody when they wouldn't otherwise have access. I think there's so much good that can be done by using computing and spatial computing to make our experiences online, which again, most of us are sitting at restaurants looking at our phones. Starting to bring that stuff back to a more human level, I think, is a really important thing. So I think I'm excited to see the transition towards those more productivity environments right now in the short term.
All industries are going to be able to capitalize with the metaverse, with VR. Concerts, sporting events have been exciting because an arena here in Las Vegas, the Legion Stadium, can only fit 67,000 people, which is massive. It's crazy. The idea of fitting that many people in one space is crazy.
Metaverse security concerns.
Yes, and metaverse, virtual reality now takes that number from 67,000 to 67 million if you chose to. Someone like a big pop stars, a Justin Bieber or a BTS or whatever's popular in the next 5 years, those people will be able to really capitalize on using this technology further than it's ever been done before. Is there a sleeper industry that you see that is going to be able to utilize VR and metaverse and really, really ramp up their industry that they haven't been able to be in this position before? Is there something that you see creeping?
Yeah, definitely. The first thing is, like, right now there's still limitations. So you're absolutely right. Like, these events can scale to as many millions of people as you want. In terms of concurrent users in a specific space, we're still limited by computing power, where you can't necessarily have, as of today, 60,000 people in the same lobby and also process all of their body movements. But you can have 60,000 concurrent users, or 100,000 or 20 million that are in separate lobbies, which allow you to control the experience anyway, so you don't have a bunch of people screaming into mics and things like that. So there's design decisions that are actually preferred, and with good design practice, you can make these experiences even better than, well, not better, but they have their own benefits to real life, right? Because you can experience these with friends, you can rewind it all together and see that part again. If it's something like not a concert, you can just relive that experience over and over again, depending on how it's captured. So there's a lot of benefits to the VR and mixed reality experiences by going to these. Definitely, in the technology space, does increase our physical limits, right? So you can have 60 million people watching the same event, feeling like they're in the same environment, right? In terms of sleeper industries, I think probably the most fundamental one right now that's at least coming to mind right at this moment is the out-of-home market. Basically, anything you imagine, if we're talking about virtual reality, for the metaverse experiences, the out-of-home market's really interesting because it's all the things that we sort of already do. So whatever you do to go out and have fun, if you go to mixers, or aside from like food and drink, although some of these things are simulated with like sounds and motions, and it's actually kind of convincing and fun as props, gaming, going and rock climbing, going and playing pool, going to mixers, going out and watching movies. It's really popular to sit with a bunch of friends and watch a movie together and hang out while, and so these sort of experiences where you start to blend experiences, there's tons of potential for really any company that can provide a digital service. You really should start thinking about how to have a presence in virtual reality. So there's, first off, just you want to go where the attention is, right, as a company. And clearly attention is moving towards virtual reality and for some demographics. That's growing tremendously. It's an enormous community right now, and it's the amount of interaction and engagement is pretty deep for many people. So there's a lot of opportunity to create a presence there for companies, just as a branding mechanism, just to be where the eyes are and create value there. And then really just the out-of-home market, there's so much potential because what VR does very well is put us back in our bodies, right? It's like it gives us the ability to interact with digital content with our hands and with our fingers, and have spatial audio, and have people in the environments playing on the same chessboard or doing whatever it is that we're doing. And so if you are a company that is out there that people come to hang out, or there's places that you like to go personally, if you like to go throw darts or basketball, anything that's actually has an element of physicality, I think is worth considering getting in and finding a niche for right now. Because when people are at home, obviously, sometimes they can't get out, or obviously everything that went down with the virus and everything. Sometimes you just can't leave. Other times you are far away from your loved ones. And so if you can give people a way to connect and have fun in these environments, meetups, mixers, accelerators, anything where you're not at home really is a good tool and really a superpower to give someone who is at home to travel anywhere they want and kind of do anything that they want.
I think a lot of people have the misconception, or maybe you'll be able to tell if it's Ripley's Believe It or Not, I guess. I don't know if this is true. A lot of smaller businesses often will hear things like what you're talking about with the metaverse. I've always thrown out Louis Vuitton, Nike, Jordan, just because I'm fans of these large conglomerates. These are billion-dollar corporations that have budgets built in that can lose $50 million, and they'll honestly probably have it as a tax write-off, and they're going to be okay with it.
Right.
Can small businesses, though, knowing that, okay, the future is the metaverse, most people aren't going to argue that. Yes, this is going to happen. The big companies will force it to happen in one way or another.
Right.
Can small businesses position themselves for wealth now? Can they position themselves for success to be in the metaverse, to be an active player?
Yeah, it's a great question again. So yes, the short answer is absolutely. The beauty of the metaverse is while it's here today, there's still many challenges, problems to be solved, right? And so anybody can come in and solve these issues. And I think the main point here is it is still so early that young companies can come in, innovate, and not have to spend gigantic budgets to make a really useful innovation. Whereas, once the metaverse is fully matured, there will be a lot more competition. The size of the software is going to be larger. The sheer number of features in a given experience are going to be larger. The users will be more used to more in-depth interactions. The experiences are just going to have a higher caliber, right? There's going to be more dollars behind it, producing higher end, more fully featured and feature-packed experiences, just like we're used to. But just like there's still new apps coming out today, that you think that this is going to be the best social network forever, and now there's another one. There is a natural cycle that happens regardless, but now really is a great time to get involved, whether you're a small business or a large corporation, just because there is so much opportunity. Really, there's so much room for innovation, both in the gaming sphere and also outside of the gaming sphere. It's really only starting to scratch the surface on what's possible, technically possible today, and it just doesn't exist because nobody's made it yet. So great time to get involved, and you don't have to have $100 million budgets to make really amazing things happen. And factually, many experiences that are very successful don't spend that kind of money in the metaverse yet, in terms of virtual reality products, at least. While it's certainly possible, you always want to go in practically. It's not enough to just build an app. And the same thing is going to be true for the metaverse. You need to provide real value in terms of making something that people actually want, people actually enjoy or get real use out of. And that's never going to be easier to do than it is today. The tools are better today. The hardware is finally at a place where we have enough control to create high quality experiences. And the tools are there to where you can keep the cost relatively really low for the core things, and then depending on how much you want to innovate, you just sort of go according to your risk factor and just really produce value for whoever your customers are.
Dylan, have you seen any companies today that are doing anything innovative that even you saw that was like, wow, that's super forward-leaning. That's impressive.
Yeah, I think the social multiplayer. So in terms of software, social multiplayer games are definitely sort of ahead of the curve because they're really deeply investing in shared world experiences. Some of them have thousands of
Can you give us an
worlds.
example?
Yeah, so one example is like VR chat. There's Horizon Worlds, which Facebook is trying, or Meta is building, and there's things like this which people typically think of as metaverse, the metaverse, or a metaverse, which again is just a component. It's a product within the metaverse. It's an experience, but in these situations they have thousands of worlds. They have people, third-party avatar designers who are designing both worlds, avatars. They're putting music in. So there's a lot of amazing experiences in these sort of places where you're meeting people. And what they're doing really well to innovate right now is they're really getting really strong foundations for social cues, safety, being able to exit rooms very quickly if you need to, controlling. Again, we're at a very basic level right now, so really doing things like just moving between worlds properly, or meeting up with other individuals, seeing each other's avatars, watching shared movie screens, traversing environments, exploring, playing games. These things are already happening in things like VR chat, which I think is pretty eye-opening once you actually get in there and experience the community there. There's a really strong community in there that really love it, and people in Horizons are having really interesting conversations. I dropped in there and met like a 75-year-old man, and we had like a 4-hour conversation about his time in the military. It was awesome.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just, I think the social components in terms of shared worlds, in terms of dealing with both visual, audio stimulus, and integrating games into those things, the multiplayer games are definitely ahead of the curve in that regard. And then, truly there's so much innovation I'm seeing on the hardware side in terms of input method that's very interesting. So looking at things like foot tracking, hand-foot tracking, waist tracking, it's interesting because it's definitely one of the fundamental issues that we need to solve. And so I'm keeping my eye on that as well. So there's the big players, and then we like to do all the small experiences as well as a team. Obviously, we jump into virtual reality. We play golf. We're always trying all the new things to see what it is. And I think the most interesting thing for me has just been to start to use as a real resource for hanging out with people that I wouldn't otherwise have a chance to get across town to, or people that live in other states. We actually really do get a chance to socialize and feel like we're together. And the apps that are doing that well are the ones that are surprising me, because they're finding really simple solutions to complex problems. And again, that doesn't necessarily require a large investment to do. It just takes someone to go out and figure that solution out.
Our friends from California, Calvin and Junis, bought us Quest 2s.
Oh, very cool.
So they sent those over, and they're like, okay, we bought you guys Beat Saber, and so we started playing it. Fun stuff, good stuff.
Yep.
And it's so interesting being able to see now Ashley, Junis, one of our girlfriends,
right,
will on her iPhone will text and invite her, hey, meet me in the stadium.
Yeah.
And it's funny seeing Ashley if she's not doing something, or even sometimes she was like in the middle of doing something, she'll literally like be right back.
Yeah.
She'll run to the Quest, put it on, and then her and Junis will start talking and conversing and playing Beat Saber together.
Instant teleportation.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden these two they were already friends, obviously, but I feel like now they've even gone even a little closer, because Junis will do these little dances, so her avatar's doing her little dance, and
Right.
Ashley's, oh, you're so cute, and then Ash will do a little dance, and then they'll start giggling and things like that. And it's so interesting though to see this small version of the metaverse,
right,
if we can say that, right?
Absolutely,
Seeing this small version of it without even all the craziness that is going to be in development of everything that we've talked about in this video and the other previous videos that you and I had, where it's going to be over the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing and kind of mind-boggling to think about, but it is really cool to see. And I've experienced the same thing in my own life, in the sense like times you would not otherwise see your friends or family that have these devices, or even team members. Really, in just a second, you can get in and you're in there. And one of the interesting things about virtual reality is it's just less of a commitment, right? So, for people that are feeling maybe not so social for the day, or they're generally not as social, they tend to be in virtual reality and getting some of that social fulfillment in times where they can't otherwise, right? If it's late at night, they're not going to drive across town, and they can do fun things like that and have conversations, and they tend to be more open in terms of dialogue too, which is really interesting, right? Giggle fits is actually a really common thing in VR, because funny things happen that just can't happen in the real world. People like start stumbling, like in a funny way, they'll like walk over and they don't expect to be seen. I'll give you an example. My partner, she was playing with me as we were golfing, and she ate some chips for a minute, and the sound of her voice showed her mouth moving as she was chewing, and it just caused like a funny moment. And so as we start to kind of
and you get the ASMR.
Right, and there's exactly. You start to hear like chips, and you see like her hand moving up to her mouth, and then as she moves it away, you see her mouth moving as she's chewing. And say, it's these little things that developers are putting in that are actually adding they're creating funny moments, and they're actually creating a totally different level of sense of presence. And then again, that accessibility just makes it to where people are really finding themselves doing it when they wouldn't otherwise see each other. So more human experiences, more frequently, and it brings us together in ways that you just can't do any other way. So
we've mentioned this already, but so all companies are going to have to, or let me rephrase that, all companies that want to increase their income or revenue are going to have to enter the metaverse in some way to continue the branding of their company that they've already exhausted so much in real life with us.
Right.
So like Nike, you make yourself look good, you pimp yourself out, got the Jordans, got the shirt, all the Nike stuff.
Sure.
And then hopefully that entices people to be like, well, in my real life too, I need more of my Nike stuff. I want to ask you, and you had told me this, movie theaters. Movie theaters are going to be moving in, and there's already a movie theater that hopefully you'll mention it with us in this conversation that's going to be making a play into the metaverse. I am curious though, the movie theater experience has always been revolved around, or at least in my opinion, big screen, ultrasound,
Right.
the popcorn, the drink, nachos, chicken fingers, hot dog,
Right.
all that stuff is the movie theater experience, going with somebody. In the metaverse, though, yes, the screen's big, but it's still big in the sense of it's in your face like this.
Sure.
Do you think that is that going to kill the traditional movie business? Because in clothing and stuff, I can see it actually accelerating even more of the traditional product.
Right.
I can see that. Movie, though, if you don't really like the movie, it's not that you didn't like the experience, it's just the movie. You're not going to watch it more than once.
Sure.
So that wouldn't transfer into watching it in the metaverse and then watching it in real life.
Right.
So you only get that one hit from a customer.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there definitely are a lot of experiences like this, and movies is just, again, it's something people like to do, and they like to do that in person. And so because it's something that we do in the real world, it's something that translates very well to virtual reality. Will it kill actual movie theaters? I don't believe so at this point in time. I'm not seeing evidence of that, but will it have an effect? Probably, right? There's a lot of the value, so you can't obviously get the food and drink thing. There are props that are really funny where you can take a bite of a hot dog and it goes away, and you can throw tomatoes at the people and make it a fun experience that are already being experimented with, where you can have the popcorn, you can pick up the popcorn, you can throw it and make it fun, or you can effectively mute people so you can't see them anymore if they're being a nuisance. They just disappear instantaneously, right? But I think that where the real value
Too bad you can't do that in real life sometimes.
so, see, and that's maybe a concern, but it's also part of the power of this is if you want to watch a movie, like if we wanted to watch a movie on a random Friday night and we can't get together to go to a theater, we can have a theater that looks exactly like the theater that we're in, that to our senses is the same size, and we could technically watch two different movies in the same theater where you're hearing your movie, I'm hearing my own, and we're together hanging out. We can share that experience where we're watching the same movie. So you start to see these kinds of weird blending of reality that's not possible in real life. That is something that theaters should be thinking about. But I think the main thing is, again, the intention here is not to take away business. It's actually to provide more business. So I can tell you right now that there are times where I go in to watch a movie in virtual reality because the screen size is so large, where we are hanging out together and we're talking, like with and with some of my friends. And the amazing thing there is you do still get that sense of being somewhere. And when you think back on it, it feels like a memory. You feel like you were there, except this movie theater can be in outer space on a spaceship, or it can be outside in you can be anywhere. You have the physical 3D environment replaced with whatever you want that to be. And now you have screen sizes that you can either control or are static in the environment. They even do ray trace lighting in some of these apps, which you can actually see the light from the screen bouncing off of the seats and the people in the audience. And so, will it replace in person? I don't believe so on that, but I think that there's a market for these people to get more people to watch their movies, right? So on days where I just don't feel like driving to the movie theater, or I can't go with the people I want to go with, it's a whole nother revenue stream for them. And it's definitely something that, again, people love to do. They love to go out and watch a movie, and you can make it a lot of fun by adding an experience to the metaverse, and it's just another monetization plan if you don't want to stream. And same thing for even home streaming. There's people, with a virtual reality headset, you can't take your 120-inch screen with you to every hotel you go to, right? Or if you have, what if you happen to have large screens, you can't take those with you. And with a virtual reality headset, I mean, honestly, you could bring that with you on a plane. You could bring it with you into the woods if you wanted to, if you download the stuff, and you still get that same experience. Not to say that you should. Maybe you should stay in nature if you are in nature, but so I think it's the sort of reality bending stuff that provides value and allows you to monetize and have more fun that you otherwise just couldn't have that's a really interesting play for movie theaters.
Dylan, amazing, brother. Been having a lot of fun with you. For everyone that doesn't know, you can contact us on our community number. It's 702-602-8802. And all you have to do is text in any question you have, and Mr. Dylan Stroud will answer that question in a future video, or he'll reach out to you personally, and we'd love to answer any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, thoughts, or quandaries, or anything that you want to talk about when it comes to the metaverse or anything going on in this world. We would love to chat it up with them.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's super fun, and I think a lot of people on this channel and a lot of people, they just love the education that you've been giving everybody on where the future is going to be over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Hey, we love this stuff. It's fun to talk about, so happy to be here. Thank you.
So if you guys could do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and if you really enjoy the content, share this video with someone that's just like us, that loves technology, that may want to learn about what the metaverse is and all the aspects behind it and all the things going on in this world and seeing where the future goes. So until our next episode, everybody, we'll see you guys soon.